Good morning, fine people of the world. Jack's in the house. How are you, Jack? Oh man, I am. And get set up where I can read here. It is morning time here. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. I know it's evening where you're at, Jack. Looks like we are alive. All right, man, I am. Jack, how are you there in the Philippines? What did you get accomplished today? Did you solve all the problems of the Philippines today? Your today, my last night? Do I look rough? Or do I still look pretty, Jack? Am I still guapo? So as you can see, Jack, I have repositioned my chair. I haven't quite decided. I'm not quite done out here. I'm going to try to finish up today. But I've got it set up to where the fire pit's out here now. And later in life, when we're outside in the evening doing live streams, I can show you the pretty fire pit versus looking at my ugly face. Jack says, I have achieved absolutely nothing today. I bet you I can prove you wrong. You want to bet? Because I'm positively sure. Want to see some skin, Jack? That you probably went to the bathroom. And as much as we hate to admit it, for some people, going to the bathroom is a big deal. Well, it's 8 a.m. here, man. I do got a better view of the bird feeder here, so that's good. I don't have to turn my neck as much, I guess. I don't get to see the western sky as much. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. It's a little harder for me to see the western sky, but the eastern sky, I can see that. I should be out of the sun a tiny bit more. Yeah, you got your lotion? Oh, I don't even know about that. And I think I've done the best I could with my small little. I need to put my banner or my sign up. I'm going to try to mount my sign. I don't know, right somewhere in here maybe. Jack, hey, did your banners ever come in, by the way? 5 people in the house, 3 thumbs up. Well, thank you for all the thumbs up already. Give us some more shout us out to everybody. We're going to have an early morning chit chat. I'm just waking up in the morning. Ooh, I'm just waking up. Shout out me. Oh my God. It's part, okay. Let's get down to business. We're going to get to business. 6 people in the house. Thank you all for being here. Give us a comment. Everybody say hello to everybody, but let's talk. I want to know. So now I'm crooked again. I just redid my outdoor studio. That's what I should call this, right, Jack? This should be my outdoor studio. Because I have an indoor studio. So this should be maybe I can put my sign there. All right, 8 people in the house. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up. Let's get the chat going. YouTube really likes it when the chat is active. I mean, they're even happier when people super chat because they get 30% of it. But they really like the chats. So everybody say hi to Jack, if nothing else. I am David, if you don't know. I am the leader of the pack, leader of the Philippine American couple. It is early morning here in my part of the country. It's a beautiful morning. 73, 74 degrees, overcast, cloudy, light breeze. What I want to know this morning, what I woke up this morning thinking, where is your favorite place to experience the morning? And, a lot of times we talk about a comparison between the Philippines and America, but it could be any other country in the world. Why is that car? Man, that's too early. Get out of my neighborhood. Get on down the road. So, ouch. Snapshot Snapper. You want an interview with. Well, I don't know who that is. So, sure, I'll interview him. I have no clue who it is. I'll interview anybody. I've done a lot of interviews in my life. So, usually pretty girls, but I have no clue who that is. Jail says, seen any good movies lately? No. The last good movie we saw was Deadpool. We haven't seen anything else. So, I watch a lot of old movies, by the way. That's kind of what I do. I'm an old guy. I watch movies that make me happy. I've been watching reruns of CSI. Yeah, that's what I do. And football. So, where's your favorite place to enjoy your morning? I actually do not like Casablanca. I absolutely do not. But thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. Listen, I was busy thinking about boogers for the next 45 minutes. Oh, good. I'm happy that you're going to be thinking about them for 45 minutes. What I would suggest you do is think about them here. You want to see some? For the next 60 minutes, because that might make you feel better. My wife has been saying, oh, congratulations. Well, I want to tell you congratulations. We're very happy. I got a lot of, we're part of the Pinay community for many, many years. And I think Pinays make fantastic wives. So are you in the Philippines or here in America? So, you can ask me any question that you want to ask me. I'm more than happy if I have the answer. If I don't, I don't care. I like questions. My friend Jack, let me scroll down here too fast. My friend Jack is going in November to marry his forever. Nice. Congratulations to Jack. Why are there so many Filipino women streaming on YouTube and no other countries? All right, I can probably answer that, and I think Jack could answer that. That is something that is very unique to their culture, and it may take it may not be a perfect answer, but I got to tell you a short story, to get you to understand where they come from. For whatever God-given reason, and you guys married to Filipinos can help with this. Filipinos love to take selfies, right? Selfies. Streaming online is the same way. They like to take pictures of themselves. They like because they're beautiful women, they're kind people. So that's why they like to be in front of the camera, because they know they're very photogenic. Now, what I will say though about the ones that do a lot of live streams, a lot of them are trying to do it for a hustle or to make money, because poverty in the Philippines is so rampant. That's why. Jack, I need to spend. I need 10. What, Jack? I tend to spend the mornings on YouTube, and it extends on the time I go to bed. That's funny. So, Snapshot Snipers in the U.S. Well, we're currently in the U.S. too, my friend. We are. We're in the central part called a state called Arkansas, who beat Auburn last night. Pow! We punched him in the mouth, gave Auburn a black eye. And a lot of people from Indian streams too. I see a lot of Indian streams too. I agree with you there. I agree. Jail says, interesting. Thank you for your response. Do you think there are men that control their hustle, or they? Oh, no. I 1000% think there's a lot of husbands or boyfriends that are behind it because they don't have to give their girlfriend or their live-in or whatever you want to call it money. I think there are a lot of guys that go to live in foreign countries that are kind of slime balls. You know, they're sexpats. I think a lot of them are okay with it because if their little living Pinay is making, you know, $100, a couple $100 because she's getting men in another country to give her super chats because she's doing, I can't do it because my shirt, you know, then I think some of the guys are absolutely happy. Now, I will say that there are people like Jack, and I'm sure Snapshot, being married to a Filipina, myself, and many others, that our wives would not even think of doing that. And we personally would never let them. That would be degrading. But a lot of alcoholics in foreign countries, you know, and then when they shack up with women, all they care about is the alcohol, not the family life. Snapshot, I just sent a 500, said, wow, $500 to her family. I feel you, buddy. We've been there, done that, and we've been married 10 years this month. We've donated cars and educations and holy smoking butt farts, Snapshot. You know what I mean, right? Yeah, so we done it. I don't want to answer this one. I don't want to piss off people. Some people do it for good thing, for good things. Some do it for the new iPhone without regard to how they get it, in a dirty way. Sorry, but not sorry. I agree with you, Jack. I mean, a lot of the girls do it, I think, to be honest, some do it out of desperation. How do you explain how do you explain that we shouldn't keep sending money? Oh, whew, let me tell you, Snapshot. That's a tough one. And my wife and I have been through this. And we're to that point where we don't send money anymore. Because what my wife has come to, my wife works. She doesn't have to work, but she really likes to work. But let me give you a little bit of advice. And if I get behind here, I'll get caught up. But let me give you a little bit of advice. What your wife needs to understand is how sending that much money, which is, unless you guys just have lots of money and $500 is like, you know, 20 bucks. $500 is normally a lot of money for people. It's a hell of a lot of money in the Philippines. So, I mean, that's, you know, rent and food and utilities all wrapped into one. That's a big, big amount of money. So, my advice would be to explain to your wife financially, physically, look, here's what happens when how this negatively affects us when we do this. And here's a little trick. What you got to do is expose their uselessness, greed. Meaning, for example, I'm going to give you an example. There was a time a few years ago where somebody died. Somebody was dying on the deathbed, right? And they needed money, so we sent money. And it pissed me off more than God's creation because they posted pictures of them flashing our cash and throwing it up like they won the lottery. And so they exposed what they really wanted. They didn't want help for the dead person or the person that was dying. They wanted the freaking cash to go party and have a good time. So when my wife saw that they were not using the money for what we intended it for, but we were working hard for it here in the United States. That in order for us to have our dreams, we were sacrificing so that they could have a great life in the Philippines versus us having a normal life in America. That took care of that. So you've been married for 4 years. Jill says that's the $1 million question. You can make them totally dependent on your money. That's right. So what Jack is saying, everybody thank you for the thumbs up and all the chats. What Jack is saying is, it's kind of like a stray dog. And I hate how I say this, but this is the best analogy I can come up with. If you keep feeding them, they're going to keep asking. They're not going to get out there and work and hustle and figure out how to get it themselves. That's what your wife needs to understand, and you need to understand. And I'm going to say this, my wife is tougher than I am. I look at it and go, well, we got the money. Who really cares? Just give it to them. That's what I thought in the beginning. But then I realized, well, they weren't out there trying. They gave up trying because they knew David would just give them money. So it's like the stray dog syndrome. When you feed the stray dog is going to keep coming back. And it's going to lay down in your front yard and wait for you to feed it. And so Jack is absolutely right. Hey, Snapshot, let me tell you this. We have our family mad at us now. I mean, they've been mad at us off and on. It's like, if you don't give, it blows my mind because, okay, well, I'm going to give you $500. Well, okay, but next time you need to give us six or we're going to get mad at you, or $700. Or wait, we needed $500 right now, but next week we need another $200. You're not going to give it to us, we're going to get mad at you. How ungrateful are people when they do that, right? To your wife, to all that you guys have been through as a couple, to all that you want to achieve. They don't care about your or hers personal well-being. And, I will tell you, I know a lot of Filipinas that have gotten to that point. I mean, 90% of the ones I know living around us, which there's a lot, there's a big community, have gotten to that point. They still maybe send birthday money or this or that, or maybe they send mom a little money every month. So, but let them get pissed. Who gives a shit if they get pissed? Yeah, I sent $1,500 when her dad, holy fucking shit, oh, sorry I cussed. $1,500, damn, that's a lot of money. $1,500, Jack, if Jack's still there, Jack, do you think $1,500 in the Philippines is a lot of money? I do. It's a gigantic amount of money. And then what you probably did is set it up. I talk with my hands, so I'm sorry. But you probably set it up to where they didn't pay anything out of their own pocket. They didn't have to work for it. They didn't have to do anything. You sent it. You took care of it. Woo-hoo. Our daughter is in America. She's busting her butt being part of a relationship. Yeah, who gives a shit? That's truly their mindset. Truly the mindset. And it's sad, but it truly is. You cannot make headway with this. And I would never send him that kind of money again. I personally would never. We bought a multi-cab early on because the brother-in-law, the sister's husband, that family, her family, wanted to have a multi-cab so that he could make money, right? By making local deliveries and running errands for people. Never freaking happened. They got the car, the multi-cab, the little truck, but he never made a dollar with it. And then here's what's funny. I don't know, it was probably a month or two after they bought the car, they had a flat tire. I think they had a flat tire. And they messaged us wanting us to send the money to fix the tire. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I just gave you a $3,500 vehicle and you can't pay to get a tire fixed in the Philippines? So that ain't gonna happen. Then the battery died. They wanted us to pay. No. So we've done that. You gotta say no. And I don't know how your wife feels about it, Snapshot. I really don't. But you have to, if you guys can be on the same page. And so here's what we do. It's like the kids that are over there that are under the age of 18, the family members, we send birthday money and we're very consistent. And we have a rule. So each child under the age of 18, they get $50 for their birthday. They can use half of it to go buy a present with, and they can use the other half and go towards like the food and the cake at the birthday party. That's our hard and fast rule, and it has been for years. And every kid gets the $50. So that's just the way it is. But our rule is because we want to teach them how to manage money and how to budget. Okay, so you get to spend up to half of it on whatever gift you want to buy for yourself personally. And then two, or if you want to go buy soda and cake for your own little birthday party, then you can do that. So that's kind of how we do that. And that's what we've said. That's it. That's all you get. So, but $1,500, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money in the Philippines. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it costs a little bit more than that to bury the person. But man, you got to be careful about not doing the stray dog syndrome in the Philippines. So a snapshot, I'm going to assume, oh, I'm sorry, I'm missing some chats here. Oh, God dang, guys. Sorry, hang on, let me, Jack, how come you didn't tell me I was missing chats? My chat wasn't rolling. Let me get caught up. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Jill says, yeah, beggars can't be choosers. I agree. And I, I agree. But here's one thing I want to tell you guys is this, is the people, and this is one thing that a lot of people don't understand. The people of the Philippines are some of the most resilient people on the planet. They are able to do more with less than better than anybody else in the world. I've seen it firsthand. I know it firsthand. Let's see. Jack says many years my first girlfriend's family all quit their jobs, and gullible me kept throwing thousands of dollars USA at them. Paid for a couple of funerals, tried to scam me for a third burial with no proof. They're gonna want cars and scooters and Snapshot says, oh yeah, it makes her cry. Then she goes into a angry mode or a quiet mode. Then how does one meet a Filipina you know is real love? A woman who's just trying to find out. Okay, Joe, let me find it and pay her bills. All right. One, you keep fishing. You keep working on it until you find the one that doesn't ask you for money. When I first started dating my wife, and remember, I've been around the community since I was 16. My dog is whimpering. So when I first started dating her, she never brought up money. It wasn't until, I don't know, 6 months later that I offered to send her stuff and money. But that's how you do it. I mean, I know it's kind of a weird thing, and it can be iffy and hit and miss, but hang on, I gotta pick my dog up. She's crying this morning, going, oh no. But what I will say is, hang on. All right, lay down. You're being a pain in the butt. So I will say this. Oh, Light Skin is in the house. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up and the shout out. Filipina or Latina? Well, we could get deep into that one because, there's a lot of Spanish blood in the Philippines. So are they really that different? Snapshot says, and she has a sister that's married a guy in Canada. And they said, yeah. Your wife is being a cash cow to them so they don't have to do anything. Try to convey to her that she's hurting them. She's not letting them stand on their own 2 feet and take care of things. So she's not doing them any good. She's making them dependent and reliant on her. And look, and maybe this is a little crappy, but if you got to tighten your purse strings there in America here, if you're managing the money, if you got to tighten the cash flow and hide it and put it in savings, put it where it's not so liquid in your family, so that you don't have as much disposable cash to send them, do it. Obviously, I married a Filipino, so I think Filipinos and some Latinas seem to be mean. So I've been with my fiance for over 5 years, Jack says, and she has her own job and has never asked or tried to scam me out of anything but love and my cooking. So she just wants Jack's love and cooking. And I know what she wants, Jack. $1,500 is a lot of money. But it sounds like when Dave sent money and they all celebrated by throwing it up in the air. Exactly. When you sent them $1,500 when somebody died, oh hell, they had a great time. They probably had a big party, remember? Oh, we're having a memorial party. They probably had one of the biggest one, invited the entire barangay. They need to learn how to budget, Dad says. Yeah, Snap says, yeah, I won't be sending it again. That's great. That's smart. It just is. Because it doesn't do them any good. You're doing them a disservice. Because and this is something I tell my wife. My wife and I've had this conversation. Here, I'm going to show you guys some skin this morning so I can get some super chats. How's that? But here, my wife and knows, and we've talked about this in the beginning. What would happen if she died, right? So if your family in the Philippines becomes so dependent on the woman, their daughter, their cousin, who's in America, what happens when she dies? They're still going to figure it out in the Philippines. If God forbid, if you guys go bankrupt in America and there's absolutely no money, and her husband dies and she's left broken in poverty here, the people in the Philippines, you think they're going to send her money in America? Hell no, they're not going to be sending any money to America to help her. But I promise you, the ones in the Philippines will still survive because that's what they can do. Snap says, Jack's a lucky man. Filipina B in the Providence. Hello, everybody. First, let me say thank you for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up, the shout out. And if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I appreciate you being here, Filipina. How are you? So what province are you in the Philippines? Jack says they probably went on a vacation in Palawan for the week. You still haven't gone to Palawan? Jack says that I'm right. Jack, I'm always right, buddy, whether I want to believe it or not. But, ooh, God dang it. Man, my dog. Jesus. I'm going to ship my dog back to... My dog's been in the Philippines. I'm going to ship her back to the Philippines. Let them eat her. No, they don't eat dogs in the Philippines. That's Vietnam. All right, let me get caught up here. She lives near Jinsan. Is that how we say that? I don't pronounce the Filipino words very well. I understand everything very well, but my pronunciation is horrible because I can't get it broke down to 2 syllables versus 3. So I'm screwed when I pronounce things. So, but we're glad you're here. We'd love to have your opinion. How do you feel about money being sent to the Philippines? Tell us what you think. Nobody's going to pick on you or anything, but how do you feel about that? So, but thank you for the thumbs up and shouting us out and all the comments. Snapchat says, I appreciate your channel. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you because we work really hard on our channel. We love the Filipino community. I used to be a college teacher, so this is kind of my way, I don't know, of trying to be, I don't know. So his wife is from Albay, is what I'm going to say. Albay is probably Albi, but, you know, I can't pronounce anything in the Philippines. My wife is from Cebu City, Mandawi, so she's from the big city, so... But I think there's a lot of Filipinos that are good Filipinos, so don't look at the ones that live stream for money and hustle as the majority. I don't think they're the majority. They may be the majority that you see on YouTube doing live streams, but that's not the majority of Filipinos. Filipinos have some of the best hearts in the world, period. They're family people, the family women. They want to be in a unit and loyal and dedicated. But yes, there are bad ones out there. So what's the difference between Visayan and Bicol? Well, the Visayas is a region, right? And you guys, the smarter than me, can answer. And Bicol is like a island or a city. So the Visayas is multiple islands, if I remember right. Filipina, she says, I talked to someone for 6 years from Seattle, but never met him. I've invited him many times and never asked anything of him. Well, now, we can also give advice to you young ladies. There's a lot of great guys out here that would love to meet Filipinas. I know some myself. So if you're still single, message me or whatever. Make sure I know how to, you can find us, email me on YouTube, whatever you got. I don't know how all this works. But you can find us on Facebook, we have a support group for Philippine Relations International. But I know single guys in America. But here's what I'm going to tell Filipinas. I feel like I'm crooked for some reason. But if you don't know, I'm sitting in my dirty kitchen. So, but here's what I know. If the guy's not going to commit to coming to you within a year, you need to dump his ass. Just saying. He sent me a ring. That's funny. I've never been married, no kids, single for 8 years. Well, there's a lot of guys that would probably be very interested. But I'm a firm believer that if you got a guy on the line and he can't figure out how to get to the Philippines in a year, then you need to move on. Because what that tells me is he doesn't have the financial wherewithal to get to the Philippines, or he's in legal trouble and he can't get to the Philippines, or he's not serious and he's just playing a game. Because I'm not saying they need to have money, the men need to have a lot of money. What I am saying, they need to be able to figure out how to purchase a ticket to go to the Philippines for 30 days to see you. And if they can't get that done because of scheduling and finances in a year, they're never going to get it done. Snapshot Filipina, what happened? Yeah, tell us more about it. Filipina in the house says the guy traveling a lot a year and stays more time in time. Well, he's not coming a year. Look, gigantic red flag. As soon as you talk to a guy and he can't get to the Philippines, but he goes to Thailand, you know what he's doing to the girls in the Thailand, right? He's having sex with them. Why would he come to you? He's having a better time there. He's just entertaining himself with you and wasting your time. That's what he's doing. So don't let a guy waste your time. Don't do it. But that guy is a sex pad, a tool, a jerk, a dickwad, because he's wasting your time when he could easily go to the Philippines. If he can go to Thailand, he can go to the Philippines. Period. If he can go on a cruise, he can go to the Philippines. So you women just keep this in mind. Jack says, I know people like that. We do know people like that, don't we, Jack? So you've been an OFW? So you're an OFW in Thailand. So you served as a public teacher. Well, here's some advice. Why don't you apply to be a teacher in the United States? My wife's sister is a teacher in Chicago. Don't go there. Don't go to Chicago. But if you can teach over there, you can teach here. You should be able to teach here. So maybe you ought to look into that. But if you're in Thailand, and if he ever showed up in Thailand at the same time, and he never hooked up with you, no, it's all bad. All bad, all bad, all bad, all bad. I'm pretty sure that he got the Thai ladies, HIV is waving, Yeah. Ahoy. Yeah, does Filipina have a channel, Jack? Because well, check out your YouTube channel if you have one. I'll have to do it in here a little bit. But but there's a lot of guys that are serious. But you got to weed out and weed through the ones that aren't pretty quick. So, and I promise you, even our new friend down there in Florida, Snapshot, probably knows Americans that would be interested in meeting you. So, what you have to do, my advice, and I give this a lot, is you don't want to go on dating websites. You don't do that. Don't do that. What you do is you find Americans that are married to Filipinas or Filipinas that are your friends that are married to Americans, and you ask them for recommendations of guys. Now, it may take 10 or 20 recommendations or friends, but you might find that one because we're only going to recommend a guy. And I know a guy out in California right now, and I know a guy in Mississippi. We know guys that are very interested in, and if it's the right girl, they would move heaven and earth to get there. Filipina says, I can't count how many times I cried at night and got hurt for 6 years. Yes, and I don't want to beat you up, young lady, but I will tell you, part of that's your fault because you let it happen. Okay, I get how the heart wants what the heart wants, and we get into bad relationships, but as smart people, and we all are, we have to realize when a relationship is not going forward and cut our losses and move on. But I will tell you this much. The good thing is you've learned a valuable lesson from the 6 years you spent with them, right? So you now know what you don't want. 38, okay, that's not old. Because a lot of Filipinas, they think, oh, the guys only want an 18 or a 20-year-old. Well, a lot of the guys know that if they're 50 years old and they go start hooking up with a little 18-year-old girl or a 20-year-old girl and they're 60 years old, whatever the age, the big age difference, it's not going to be true love, because why would a pretty little 18-year-old with their life ahead of you want an old guy, right? Because for the money. So I recommend to men that you try to find a woman about 20 years or under your age. And I tell the guys that I know all the time to fish in your same pond, which means be realistic. If you're 50 years old, why would that 18-year-old want you? So think about those. Jack is dropping her link. Great. So she's 38. Jack dropped her link. Wow, Filipina, you've been a diamond for a guy. Yeah. A guy who did not appreciate that. And I remember what I said, and I mean this with 100% certainty. If a guy can't get his happy ass to the Philippines in a year due to scheduling his work, saving up some money, then he's not coming. He is not coming. Filipina says, my last boyfriend in 2016 for 7 years relationship with a Pinoy. Please don't laugh at me. That's all right. Snapshot says all the young girls want babies too. Yeah, well, they want the baby because the baby's a cash cow, And look, I married my wife at the age of 28. 28. So she's the same age as you are right now. And I was a lot younger then too. I was guapo back then. Now I'm just an old fat guy. But I married my wife because, not that I was successful or anybody important, but I did not. And I turned down a lot of Filipinos who wanted kids, who was way younger, who wanted to do hey, let me come live in your fancy house and send my family money shit. So there are a lot of guys that don't want a second family. There's a lot of guys that don't want a family. I don't have a family. I don't want one. So when I knew my wife had no desire to have kids, that was a good thing. So there are a lot of men that don't want to raise children in their old age. They want to go and travel and have fun and enjoy their age because they spent 20, 30 years working their asses off to be successful. So now they don't want to raise babies at 50 and 60. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's a lot of guys that don't want to do that, and there's a lot of guys that do. All they want to do is, Jack says, go out and party. And Grandpa, yeah. And Grandpa be the ATM. You're right. I see that right here in my own community. We have a number of younger Filipinos married with guys my age or older who, the old guys don't like to go out and party, but they're out partying and doing things they shouldn't be doing. Snapshot Sniper says, Jack sure does, and people take notice. They do. We all know who they are. We all know who the floozies are here. We know the ones that are cheating on their husbands. Y'all know this. We know the old guys. Yeah, we know it. Scotty's in the house. Scotty B, thank you for the thumbs up and being here, my friend. We're having a great conversation this morning. We are having a great one. Everybody say hi to Scotty. Everybody say hello to everybody if you haven't done that already. Appreciate all the thumbs up, all the love. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, and everybody else's. So Scotty saying hello to the whole pack, me and my pack, which all of you guys are part of the pack, right? 38 is risky, too risky to. I agree. So I don't want to have kids. Good. You're gonna, look. You just work on this. You network with us other Americans, and we can, between all of us, can definitely find you somebody who doesn't want to have kids either. Jack says, at Snapshot Trevor, I walk through the malls and see those young girls pushing around, great grandpas around, even missing limbs. We had one in Makati City, not Makati, Mactan City. Missing limbs, and the girls look horrible regarding life, bad choices. Yeah, we had one of those on Mactan Island, in the condos there by the off there by Shangri-La, where we had to stay for a while. And there's this old guy that has no legs and being pushed around in a wheelchair, an old American. But hey, he's still getting a Social Security check every month and living in a condo. So the gold diggers will go after him. Snapshot Sniper says, Filipina, you have no problem in finding a good man. Just make sure he's not a sexpat. Well, and I agree with that, and I've talked about this, and I need to redo a video about sexpats. With sexpats, it's all about the intention, right? The intention is to go travel and to have sex, not to go travel and meet your future wife. And so there's a lot of guys that go to foreign countries on travel visas or tourist visas and looking for a girl to marry, but there's also a lot of them that just go for the purpose of sex. And it sounds like her ex-fiance was that guy in Thailand. Let's see. Snapshot is agreeing with Jack. Scotty says hello to Jack. Too hard to find someone that wants to meet in person. I disagree. I don't think it's too hard. I think you have to give them a reason to look. And I'll tell you briefly my story. I've been around the Filipino community since I was 16, 17 years old. Over the many years, this is my first marriage, my only marriage. I've had so many Filipinas want me to offer up their sister, their cousin, their niece, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I've met so many of them online and okay, whatever. But when I met my wife 10 years ago, I knew right away she's worth going to the Philippines for. This was different. I could feel the difference. And so she gave me a reason to come there because I knew there was a difference. And that lightning in the bottle, so to speak, will happen too. You just need to let others help you direct the traffic to weed out the bad ones. And a lot of expats like myself and Jack and Scotty and Snapshot down in Florida can turn you that way. And we can recommend that you befriend these certain other expats or Americans on Facebook and build a friendship and see where it goes. Scotty says, I'm just editing some videos from the meetup. Oh, good. Yeah. How'd that go? I saw that the hamsters was posting something. My phone don't want to work. Need to get rid of pics and videos. Oh my God. I hope it's not bad pics. Snapshot says, Filipina, just keep your pure and the right man will come. Please, people here can help you find somebody. They can, and he's exactly right. Don't change just to find somebody. I encourage you to keep fishing. And look, the other thing I tell people, until a guy's ready to be serious with you, you can keep it in the friend zone until it's ready to move on. Meaning, if you hook up with us and I send you a couple guys you can talk to on Facebook, that's great. If Snapshot knows a couple of guys down in Florida that you can talk to, that's fine until you start getting through the process. Don't commit to talking to one guy. You know, it's okay in America for a girl to talk with and be friends with multiple guys to see where any of them might go. And then what you do is like, well, gee, I really like this guy that, Pac set me up with out of California. We're really getting on. Then maybe you can weed out the others and start focusing on that relationship. Let's see. All right, let me get caught up here. Jack says, I know one channel, it's like that. All the wives' videos are quite focused on ill intentions and not taking care of their rich old man that always needs assistance. Yes, Jack and I do know several YouTube channels like that. And it's really sad. I've seen some videos of these poor old men being able to walk. I mean, the treatment and I've seen them. It's disgusting. No luck online dating. Tried many. I agree with you. Don't date online. Don't do it. You got to get referrals. You got to make friends with people living in the United States or Germany, Australia, wherever it is. Don't just think about the United States. Now, you got to think about that. You got to make friends. Don't date online so that we can introduce you. Now, the other thing I'm going to tell you, because you mentioned that you taught in Thailand, I don't know if you're a teacher in the Philippines or not, but we import teachers on a visa, on a work visa in the United States. So if you have the credentials and go through that process, you might Google that and look that up. You can come here and you can work for 3 to 5 years in America making really good money as a teacher, and you'll have a better chance of meeting a guy in person here in the United States. Same thing with New Zealand, Australia. They're in need of teachers too. I never trusted online dating, Jack says. No, I agree. Snapshot says, Filipinos, someone here can help you. Don't lose hope. I would agree. And look, you can befriend us on Facebook. You can find David Lorelei, our Facebook stuff. Find us, befriend us. My wife, my wife manages all the Facebook stuff. I'm just the pretty face on YouTube. But so she does that. You befriend some of the wives, so the wives aren't jealous of you talking to the husbands. And you know all of this. So you got to befriend my wife and the community, and somebody will help you. But I can turn you on to James Robinson in the house. I was thinking about you a minute ago. This young lady we have in the chat is looking for a handsome man like you, Mr. James. James is my good friend out of California. James is my buddy. I like James. So James, Filipina here, Filipina Bay in the Providence. Is it you guys might hook up on Facebook and start chatting and see if there's anything there for you too. But James is a good guy. I trust him 1,000%. Well, you just met me. I'm married, but you met me. You met Jack. You met Scotty. You've met a bunch of people already here. You met Snapshot down in Florida. Come on. And by the way, Snapshot, I keep saying Florida because I love Florida. So makes me feel good to think about all of our time we spent in Florida. So that's why I keep saying that, not to, you know. But our good friend James Robinson, and he's a single young man, or he could be single. Be somebody that you could friend. Jack, my friend was online dating without ever a video call, but did a video chat, and I grabbed his phone and lost all my English. I cussed out two ladyboys. Oh, God. Jack and his ladyboys. Facebook is toxic. I never used Facebook since 2016. Well, why it's beneficial is it is toxic and it's not great, but the messenger works. So that way you can message people easily and people feel comfortable doing that so that you can start that relationship there until they're willing to, if you have an Apple phone, to FaceTime you or whatever. So Facebook, you have to think about Facebook in a way that benefits you, not Facebook. Jack is saying hello to James. What's up, Jack, from James? Have you been to Seafood City recently, James? Jack is asking you if you've been there. I know Claude down in Texas, and Tate has been to Seafood City the other day in Houston, Texas. So Jack is like, no. But because one thing I'll tell you, Filipina, is we do like to know who we're talking to. We like to get a feel for them. And look, and if a guy won't FaceTime you, and this goes the same way. I know guys that are, quote, quote, in an LDR that have never been to the Philippines. They've never seen their woman, except for maybe a little bit on a camera. But they send them money. You can get hustled from both sides. You can get hustled, they can get hustled. But just remember, reach out, connect, and if you build something with them and they talk about coming to the Philippines to see you, if they can't get that done within a year of saying that, you need to kick their ass to the curb. Snob says, yeah, I subscribed. Thank you. Thank you all for subscribing, liking, and sharing and shouting us out. Yeah, Florida is great. Getting expensive. You're right. And that's why we're not going to move back to Florida or move to Florida. We're going to move to southern Alabama because the carrying cost of home ownership in Florida is ridiculous. But it's not in Alabama. So James says, nope, I haven't been to Seafood City recently. James been busy, man. What you talking about? Make sure I didn't miss anybody here. Scotty says, Miss Scotty's up here. Scotty says the Scotty B show. He knows people too. You need to be true and honest about everything, just like you expect him to be. Absolutely, freaking lutely. That's one thing my wife did early on, and maybe this is part of what attracted. She was open and honest about everything. She started showing me where she lived and what was going on, and she told me all of her bad things, her secrets. There really wasn't any, but you know what I mean. Full disclosure up front, and that made me feel comfortable going forward, and so that gave me reason to keep talking to her, because I didn't feel like she was lying and hustling me, because she was full disclosure on everything, and I did the same. Hey, Tate's in the house. Good morning to you, my friend. We just talked about you, that you and Claude were down at Seafood City recently. Feel like my good morning newscaster. Well, I appreciate you being here and saying that. And if you guys all haven't made friends with each other, please do. Make friends with each other. Make sure you subscribe to me. Give us a thumbs up. Hey, Tate, one of the things that we're working on today is our friend here, Filipina Bai in the Providence, is looking for a man about her age. She's 38 apparently. So she would like to meet an American. If anybody has anybody they would recommend for her to become friends with. I was recommending James Robinson because James is a great guy. I know him personally out there in California. He's a great guy. So I would be confident that any girl that, oh man, that guy got married to or hooked up with would be great. I said, ooh, wow, because I just saw my neighbor over the fence. I don't know what he did yesterday, but he has a sunburn like nobody's business. You could tell he was wearing a tank top. Oh my God. He's gonna hurt like a mother. Holy crap. Let me see. Uh, Snap says, I make 100K and feel poor in the Philippines. Exactly. We have a good life in Arkansas, but we want a better life. We want to travel more. So, and we love the cold, the coast. So we love the coast, and we love the Gulf Coast. And so we're coming to Alabama hopefully next year. So southern Alabama down, not in Orange Beach or Gulf Shores, but kind of up off the water a little bit is what our plan is there. So, and if we get to do that, maybe we'll be able to hook up with you and have lunch and maybe get together down in Florida because we go to Florida quite a bit. We cruise ship. Tate says, I have to go through my friends list for a good man. Well, all right. He can do it though, right? Your wife, I mean, it's kind of like that question. We have friends that say, hey, they call my wife once in a while, they're talking, they're like, well, Lorelai, does David have any guys that he knows? And I think of a couple. I think of James. I think of Henry. I think of some of these guys that I know that I go, oh yeah, I know a couple guys that are good guys. And if they hit it off, it's like lightning in the bottle, though. If you meet somebody online or view through this process, and you wind up marrying them, it's like getting lightning in the bottle, making gold and winning the lottery all together because it's a great thing, right? But if you don't try, it doesn't happen. So, Tate saying hello to Jack. Red Lobster, yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, holy shit. I took Lorelai to Bonefish Grill last night for our wedding anniversary dinner. We wound up going to Bonefish. I don't know if you guys know that restaurant. I was thinking of Red Lobster. Bella Rose, do you golf at the Gulf Coast? I do not golf anywhere, Bella. But thank you for asking. I fish at the Gulf Coast, Bella. Well, I know Bella personally, so I'm going to give her a little hard time. So Scotty says, I need to go have a great stream. All right, Scotty, we appreciate you, buddy. We look forward to hearing how your meetup went with the Hapsters and everybody. But really, you're going to have to make, if you got time Thursday or something, come on to the live stream and tell us Thursday night at 7 how all of that went. We'd really like to hear how your trip went. Snapshot Snappa says, I have a friend that we refer, and he's married in November. And oh, see, it's happened for Snapshot. He's got somebody that he referred, and now they're getting married. So it happens. But Filipina, what I'm really telling you is don't do the dating websites. You just network with other people that can recommend better guys than that. People that are serious. Because the only people that I would ever recommend to anybody that we know or Lorelai knows are guys that I know that if the connection was there, they would go forward and get married and be with the woman. I'm not going to hook you up with somebody who goes, well, man, maybe. I'm going to hook you with somebody that goes, yeah, if I found the right girl, I'd be more than happy to do it. I like older, she says. I like older than me. I agree with you. Young men is immature. Yeah. Look, I tell this story, and thank God my wife's in bed, because here's the rule in my house. As far as my wife is concerned, I don't know what a girl is. I don't know what they look like. I've never dated one. I've never had one as a friend. I didn't even know women existed until I met her, period. All right, that's my stance on that. But I dated a girl when I was 35 who was 20, and she was cute and gorgeous and a lot of fun, but she was the biggest pain in the ass, dumbest ass thing in the world because being a 20-year-old, she knew shit. Drove me crazy. So I agree with you. You need to date men on your same level. And that's why I tell American men, go after women in your own pond because you're going to be, only way to get happy or to be happy in a relationship is to date somebody that you connect with, that's in your own pond, that can appreciate things and like the things that you like. Not necessarily everything, but you got to have enough common ground. And an 18-year-old and a 60-year-old don't have common ground. Jack says, Snapshot Sniper, they better get to know each other good before completely jumping in. Well, hopefully he did. Hopefully they did a lot of FaceTiming. But hey, look, I only knew my wife, a year when we got married. I mean, boom, I knew it was the right thing. So when you know, right? I mean, Lorelai and I did the Facebook. And back then it was called Viber. And we did a lot of, man, he's red. And all that. I was there in the Philippines in 6 months, and she was in America in a year, the other 6 months. So when I knew, right? And I moved as Christmas break came up. I was off from teaching, and I flew to the Philippines. David, you can start a Filipino dating service. I just want people to be happy, James. You know that. But James is a good person to reach out to. There, young Filipina who's 38, from the Providence, Filipina by in the Providence. Jack says, "Good. I'm 43. No, Jack has a pretty girl." Todd says, "My wife connected a friend of kinds who I used to work with. He's engaged to her niece. They're getting the K-1 visa process. See, it happens all the time." And I know I'm harping on it, but look, folks, network with us. I'm telling you, or James and Henry, we know people, and we know people who know people. We know people, and that's how you find somebody that's truly going to be serious. So Dante's telling you it works. Snapshot is telling you it works. I'm telling you it works. Jack is telling you, woo. See, my wife's a friend and my friend, and they hit it off. That's it. That's it exactly. Snapshot says, Jack, oh, it's been 2+ years. See, that's plenty of time. That's longer than mine. And what happened, I'll tell you the funny story. Lorelai likes to tell this story. But the funny story is Lorelai was in the process of going to work overseas in Jordan, if I remember right. And we met. And we knew right away. I mean, it wasn't 3 months that I went, oh my God, this is totally different. I am so freaking screwed because this relationship, this person is totally different. And I am screwed because I'm going to actually have to drag my happy ass to the Philippines, and I didn't, and I turned down so many other Filipinos in my life, told all my friends to quit sending me freaking Filipinos because I got tired of it. And out of the frustration and kindness of somebody, I said, fine, I'll meet your whatever. And it turned out to be Lorelai. But she was in a process of processing everything to go to Jordan. And she was supposed to leave in January, I think it was. And she flatly told me, she's like, look, if you can't get here, because I was going to go the next summer. So we met like in June, and I was going to go back on summer break so I could stay a longer time. She's like, well, I'm going to go to Jordan because I need to work, and I got to work. I don't care how much or whatever money she didn't care about my money. I got to go earn my own money. So I said, well, all right, maybe I could reschedule, and I can schedule it for Christmas break, which I did. So I put forth the effort to get to the Philippines so that I could meet her and to be there. And then we started the K-1 visa process immediately. Snapshot is asking you what dating ages. I think she was saying up here that she is into I think she dropped that somewhere in the chat. Here it is. See, she's like, I like older men, like maybe 48 to 58, somewhere in that range, because she's 38. So she definitely just wants somebody who's, responsible and mature. So, which I agree with. Filipino says, looking for someone long-term relationship, mostly foreigners. I've chatted online, chat many women too. I agree, and it's kind of the fishing expedition, and you kind of got to weed them out, and that's why I know it's hard, but you got to give them a reason to keep coming back, and when you connect to somebody, you do that. But one of the best ways to keep getting the men to come back is to listen to them, let them talk, let them hear, uh, empathize, and want to know about their life and about their day, because that's what American women do not do. American women doesn't want to hear from their husband. They want their husband to shut up and give them the paycheck. So American men want women who can listen and be empathetic and encouraging, not, where's the paycheck, shut the fuck up and go over there. So she's saying, 48, 58, 60 is fine. I will be 39 next month. Adventures of the Filipino couple, dating service kindness has a ring to it. It kind of has a ring to it. It does. It does. Filipina, it's okay if they have kids? Yeah, that's a good question. The good thing is most of the guys in that age bracket, their kids are going to be older, usually. So, but that's a very, very good question. See, Snapshot knows somebody right there. Oh, let me throw this out. Thank everybody for this. We have a tropical shirt contest. Jack, Scotty, and I were putting on the internet's best tropical shirt contest. If you go to my YouTube channel, there's a little video link right there front and center that tells you how to enter. You basically just subscribe and you send a snapshot to my email of you in your tropical shirts. We're going to be giving out awards for 1, 2, and first, second, third place. We're looking for guys wearing, or women, I guess, tropical shirts. I'm not entering, so there is going to be a fair contest. We have 5 judges who's going to independently judge, and we're going to award awards. So I encourage you guys to join our tropical shirt contest. See, she likes kids. She doesn't just want any kids, because at her age, it's a little risky, and I agree with that. But like I said, there's a lot of us guys that never wanted kids, but there's a lot of guys that did have kids that don't want any more kids, and then there are guys that are 60 that wants kids. I'm just one of those strange ones that never had a desire to have my own kids. So she likes kids. See, we're hooking you up. So Snapshot has gotten something going on, so you guys can figure out how to connect with each other. Maybe you reach out to my good friend James there. So, but that's what we did. We moved. I moved heavens. Well, it wasn't really that hard. I was going to go in the summer just because when you teach college, summer break is like your big vacation and you got plenty of time. And I'm kind of one of those slow going guys, and Jack says, Snapshot to you, Snapshot, I think it would be tough if the man she's looking to date or marry has kids older than her. Well, yeah, Jack. Might be a little odd if the guy that she's going to date has a 40-year-old daughter and she's 38. Or maybe they could be besties. You never know. I don't know. But I do think it's odd that if you got, here's what I think the problem with that, Jack, is I've seen guys who have like a 20-year-old daughter or a 22-year-old daughter, then they go to the Philippines or Thailand and they marry a 20-year-old and bring them back to America. That's usually a problem. Then the 22-year-old daughter is really pissed that dad went and married a child because wow, that girl's younger than me. So that could be a problem. But, when you get to be 40s and 50s, I don't think it's the biggest problem. Okay, all right. See, we're making progress. We did some good things today so far. So, what other problems of the world can we solve for everybody? But it's not that hard. It takes time, it's effort, it's emotional. The problem with this is it is all about the emotional, keeping your emotions in check, being stable. Oh, Jack dropped the link to our tropical shirt contest. Man, I really love for you guys to submit an entry. I got a feeling Snapshot, who lives down in Florida, has a tropical shirt or two in his closet. And don't cost anything to enter. You just gotta, subscribe to the channel, which you already have, and send me an email. So it's kind of just a fun thing to do that we're all kind of sponsoring and hosting in hopes of building up our community. So, and then the good thing is, see, you meet a guy, if he's serious, he will move mountains and earth. And like I told you earlier, I know somebody who's been in a long-term relationship. He's been dragging girls. I know guys that have dragged girls on and on and on, but they have no intentions of going to the Philippines because they can't go to the Philippines, whether it's for legal reasons or financial reasons. They will never leave the United States. So just be aware of that. As long as he's not a womanizer, well, here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I want to tell you, Filipina. We men like myself and other men, good men, we're not going to recommend a womanizer because that makes us look bad. And we don't want to look bad in front of anybody. We don't. We care about ourselves. And by reading, Snapshot's language in this and reading how he speaks and writes, he's the same way. He's not going to recommend a womanizer because that might make him look bad. That would come back on who he is. And we don't do that. So that's what you have to understand. We're not going to recommend a drunken womanizer to you. We're just not going to happen. One, people like us and Tate, and I don't know about Jack. Jack may run around with womanizers, but Tate, Sanders, and Snapshot, and Scotty B, and all these others, we really don't run around with womanizers. One, our wives would kill us, right? Because look, one thing we all know, being married to a Filipina, is the bad Filipinas in my part of the country, my part of the little world here, the ones that are, whatever you want to call them, they don't come to the party. We can't invite them to the parties. I don't know I never invite any Filipina to the party. My wife does that. So she's in charge of that. So we are not around those type of women. Thus, we are also not around the men because we're not allowed to invite them, and we don't want to anyways, but you have to understand. We're not going to run around with guys that my wife is going to think is a bad influence on myself or anybody else. We're not going to do it. We're happy to help. We don't have to. Happy to help you. Yeah, it's not just, you'd only recommend or refer quality guys. Because that's really all we know. I mean, we don't, like I just said, we don't hang around. Well, I hang around with Jack, and he's probably the worst I hang around with. James is a great guy to hang around with. But, so we don't do that. And so therefore, we don't have those guys to recommend because it would make life hell in our own marriage. And we don't want the floozy Filipinas that cheat on their husband over at our house for the parties either. And the good women don't want that either. The good Filipinas don't want those slutty girls or whatever. I don't know. It's like we need to come up with a name. We need to come up with a name for the Filipinas that want to trade up. So we talk a lot about how some of these girls, they marry and they get to in the United States and they immediately start looking and figure out how they can get a fancier or richer husband so they can divorce the first one, get the second one. They kind of want to move up. So there's a small population of Filipinas and other Asian women, Koreans, Chinese, Japanese, Indian women, and there's from everywhere that want to kind of move up. So we need to come up with maybe we ought to call them ladder women. I don't know. We need to come up with a new name for that. Jack says he doesn't even leave the house. Snapshot says most of the American men that age try the attitude of Western. Oh yeah, we can't stand Western women. I've done a video on it. You know, my opinion. I need to redo it, maybe re-announce it. But American women are finally waking up to the fact that American men don't want to put up with them anymore. They just don't. Men don't want to put up with bad women anymore. We got a single Filipina friend who just got a divorce after 30 years of a really good guy because she's convinced that she could get a richer man, and she's home alone being sad and quiet because nobody wants to date her because she's a gold digger. You know, men, and I keep telling my wife who knows her, that men don't want her after they date her a few times because they immediately get the gold digger vibe. We don't want that. We don't want women who want to bully us. A lot of American women, they want their husband to work for them. That's the way it is. They want to be here. They want the man to come home, and they want to be the boss, and they want to demand what the husband does or doesn't do, when he does it, how he does it, what he works. They want the man to be below them. Not even equal. Not even equal. They want them to be down here. And American men, I think, are fed up with that. That's why, you know, you have what they call the passport bros and all these other men going to other countries, because what American men really want, and I'll tell you, point blank, they want to be loved, cherished, honored, and taken care of. And there's a lot of women that are starting to figure out why American men don't want American women. And they've come out on YouTube and Instagram and other platforms talking about, look, American men are really simple. We want somebody who's going to lift us up, not tear us down. And that's your strong suit in the Philippines because that's your nature. And you can do that. American women can't do that. American women can't lift anybody up but themselves, period. You know, American men love sex and happiness and joy and all of that. They want to feel like they're men, not that they're property and garbage. So that's the key there. Jack says, sugar babies. Ooh, you like those little candies? I hate them. They stick in my teeth. Tate says, you're so right. Well, thank you. I hope you mean that to me, but thank you. Yes. American men are really easy. Men are really simple. Look, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way towards women, but just understand, if you can understand the man that you're with, you'll have a happy life for the rest of your life. And we will give you everything if you give us everything. My wife has a great life. I mean, she can buy whatever. She doesn't because that's her personality, but I don't care what she buys. It's kind of frustrating at times because she will ask, which I appreciate. She'll say, okay, well, I want to buy this. I'm like, well, then buy this. I don't care. She's like, well, do we have the budget for it? You know, and I'm like, yeah, just, and she's like, well, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, if you want to buy the damn thing, just buy the damn thing. It's not an act of Congress, just buy it. Well, I don't know, you know, we could use the money on something else. Tata says here, be careful and take, Snapshot says, be careful of taking Filipina to the U.S. and she adapts the Western model. I agree. We call them becoming Americanized. And that is something very important that you have to do. That's why you got to keep them in their own culture. You got to keep their culture strong in them. And if they have religious beliefs and faiths, you got to keep that hammered in them too. But you got to keep the Filipino culture or the Asian culture, the culture they come from, tight. Tate says, funny story. My wife was thinking about what her friend has her friend husband make way more than I do. So I tell her to tell her friends, you married a low budget husband. There you go. That is a good one. I like that. Maybe I like that one, Tate. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to call myself the low budget husband. I like that, buddy. I like that. The one thing I tell guys about the Western attitude, everybody, is this. When you do meet a Filipina and you bring them here, you can keep prolonging that Western attitude by how you behave as an American. What I mean is, and like I just said, my wife can go buy whatever. I don't care. She doesn't have. Now, look, that's counterproductive. That makes her an American woman. What I should have recognized, and I have over the years recognized, there's certain things that I don't want to encourage her, even though it means nothing to me, because that's what American women do. So what I encourage you guys to learn lessons from people like me, and my wife is not westernized. She refuses to become like American women. She likes who she is. But what I've learned over the years is not to encourage those bad behaviors or those behaviors, whatever the good or bad, that makes her more like an American woman. You encourage the ones they come here with that you fell in love with. And you encourage those, you emphasize those, you reward those. And they will stay there. I promise you, they will stay there. And I learned that from an old guy who's been married to an old Philip. They've been, God, 40 years, I guess. I don't know. A long, long time. And that's something he told me. He should have told me years earlier, but I did finally learn it, right? So the key is not to let them become westernized. You build that Asian culture, that culture in your house. And as a reference point, one thing I used to tell my international students, I taught a lot of international students at the college level. I had a lot of them come work for me in my office in my area because they were only allowed to work in the U.S. part-time on campus. So we gave a lot of them jobs. And it's the same thing. I used to tell them, they would come in and be scared to death. I'd get them to calm down. But I would encourage them. They would, when they finally got comfortable talking to me, I would encourage them to say, don't eat fast food in America. Stick to your diet from your home country. If not, you're going to blow up like an American because your body's not used to it. Your body can't process the way America's food is, and it's horrible, bad for all of us. So if you truly want to keep your culture and your happiness, don't eat American food. You can eat it once in a while, but you got to embrace your culture, keep your culture alive in your household. And that's what I mean by that, is don't let them become Western. It's not about the food, but you want them to eat their Asian food and their dishes and embrace that. You want to embrace their culture. So, low budget husband, I like that. Snapshots on, yeah, they tend to judge by income and possessions. Absolutely right, they do. Here's another thing I'll tell you about keeping them from becoming too westernized is you have to re-emphasize, no stinky fish in the house. You have to re-emphasize the behavior that you want them to have. So for instance, I am the type of personality that I don't give a rat's ass what anybody says about me, what they think about me. What other people say and think about me is not going to affect me. Unless you're paying my bills, you get no input in my life, right? So I've hammered that home with my wife from the beginning, and I did this intentionally. But we don't care what they say. When somebody says something in the Philippine community and they're running their mouth, oh, they got a new person. I don't care what they did. So I just quietly re-emphasize stuff like that all the time. Well, I don't care. I don't care who's having drama. Not my problem. Oh, well, somebody's bad because we didn't invite them to the party. Well, I don't really give a crap. Not my problem. My problem is I invited whoever was nice to me. You know, if you're not nice to me, you don't get invited. I don't really care what anybody thinks. So I've just preached that. And so now that's how my wife feels and thinks. Well, I don't care. I'm not going to do it. You know, so you can modeling the behavior you want them to have is what I'm saying. And that's what that is. My wife's probably done that to me, and I don't even know it. So I've modeled some of that. Hey, we're not going to put up with people's bullshit. Nobody's going to stick their nose in our business type of things. So over the years, and it works very well. Dry fish, stinky fish, yeah. Well, the house that we built here, we actually had a professional exhaust fan put in. So they can cook stinky in the house, but I prefer them to do it out here in the outdoor kitchen. I did a video on stinky fish. Man, I hate stinky fish. We do have some stinky fish in the refrigerator that hasn't been re-stinctified that I'm going to take down to the lake and try to fish with, see if I can catch a catfish. Our friend Filipina here says, my cousin married a man 72 years old from Phoenix. Wow. She lived 10 years there and still is a simple woman. Nice. Well, then that's probably a testament to who she is, right? And when you're dating somebody, if you get those red flags where it looks like they're all about the money or the monetary or things, then you need to be aware of that. My wife was never that way. My wife was always very humble, and I offered when we, once we got it going, and I realized where she lived in the Philippines. I realized that she was living in some little boarding house in a room the size of my closet here with paper thin walls and having to put shower curtains up and then a communal bathroom. I offered, I said, look, I got plenty of money. I can send you money so you can go rent a condo or an apartment or something. She's like, no, this is all right. This is all right. No. So our friend Filipina says, dried fish is yummy. Say, you're a true Filipino. Americans don't like dried fish. We don't like dried fish at all. Snapshot Sniper says, Filipino, I recommend that you don't cook it in American house. Here's what I recommend. I recommend that you cook it outside next to the bad neighbors. Put a fan on it and blow it towards the bad neighbors. My Pinay cooks when I'm not at home, and she feels sorry for the kids. And I feel sorry for the kids. I agree. She says, Filipino, I live near the beach, so we get so many dried fish at home. Oh, man. Well, here's a funny story. We were down in Alabama, actually, with some friends, Filipino couples. We had like 6 couples. And we all rented this beautiful beach house. I mean, it was a 3-story beach house. I think we paid $3,000 or $4,000, $5,000 for like 4 days. So we all pitched in, and, it was freaking gorgeous. But one of the couples that went wasn't married. They were a boyfriend-girlfriend couple of a Filipino that was divorced or whatever. And my buddy that was dating her at the time, they broke up since then because she's crazy. I told my friend, I said, look, you're not going to want to eat that stinky fish. I said, I'm just telling you. He's like, well, it's all right. And so, him trying to be cool, when the girls fixed their stinking fish and we had it all out on this beautiful deck, overlooking the water, we're all having dinner and having a good time. Us husbands all know we ain't touching that stinky fish. Well, he decides to eat a bunch of that stinky fish. 10 minutes later, he's out back puking his guts out. So I'm telling you, if your stomach is not used to stinky fish, it ain't gonna work. Cook it out in the backyard at the fence line to share dried and burning fish skins sent with the neighbors you don't like. Snapshot says, did you hear someone called the police cause Filipino? Oh, yeah. And what about the fruit, durian? We've traveled a lot. Even on cruise ships, durian fruit isn't allowed on cruise ships, hotels. The last hotel we were in the Philippines, I remember seeing a sign that's saying, no durian fruit allowed in the hotel. So she's laughing at you, Jack. But, man. But that's what I tell guys. If you're going to stinky fish, point it towards your bad neighbors, if you have any. But in the Philippines, they're going to be, here's the bad thing. You can do that in America, right? But in the Philippines, if you point it, well, you don't got to point it anywhere. They're going to come running. It's like, woohoo, stinky fish, stinky fish. Maybe we should make a song like Baby Shark about stinky fish and become billionaires. So, stinky fish, but not into the stinky fish. The good thing for me at this house is my wife, I think you know, her taste is changing. So she's not as a fan of stinky fish as she used to be. It's starting to kind of, yeah, I'll have some. We have a party, but we don't cook it unless there's a party. Tate says, I'm not touching that fish if it's not fillet or fish. I won't eat a fillet. Yeah, I agree with you. I eat a lot. We eat a lot of fish. I like whole fish. I'm not sucking the eyeballs. You know, I'm not sucking out the head of the fish. I'm not eating fish soup. But fried fish I will eat, and I like fish very, 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 very much. So Jack says, I was asked to go fry up some fried fish at the golf course kitchen years ago. The whole clubhouse cleared out. The noise stayed like it was nothing. Oh, I know, Jack. It's kind of crazy, right? And one thing I'll tell you as an interesting side, especially for our friend down in Florida and our friend down in Texas, is when we were down in Florida at Cocoa Beach, Lorelei figured out, or maybe she already knew, but we found a place that collected all of the fish carcasses, a meat market that had all a bunch of fish carcasses, and they would sell them for like 38 cents a pound. And so she would buy them, and like grouper heads are so big, there's a lot of meat in the head, and I guess Americans don't realize how much feet are in fish's heads. So we would buy these fish skeletons or carcasses for 38 cents a pound, bring them home. Lorelei would dig out all of this wonderful meat, and man, we were eating grouper, we were eating all kinds of fish cheap. Ooh, man, it was good eating. Our friend Filipina says, Jack, you're so funny, we don't care about the scent. Yeah, I think your noses are been cauterized or something, because you guys are so close to the grill when you cook things. I think the heat has burned your nostrils. Snapshot says that she makes a tilapia, and we eat that with a ton of jasmine rice. Yeah, we maybe you guys would like the sway, which is a freshwater catfish, but it's really good. We eat a lot of different fish. We go to the fish market and buy the pompano, you know, the red snappers, and all of those fish, to the milkfish, which I don't really care for milkfish, or what do we call milkfish? Bangamis? Bangmis. So we can buy that at our Asian store here, and but we do that. And I grill a lot for when they come over to cook. I'll throw some fish on the grill for them, and they like it. What I'm really blown away about is how freaking fried my wife wants it. She complains, well, it's not fried enough. I'm like, what do you mean it's not fried enough? I've had it in the deep fryer for 4 hours. Well, you know, it needs to be crispy. Okay. Okay. Bangamis, yeah. Jinsan is a tuna capital of the, oh, I didn't know that. Really? Wow, I didn't know that. Like, wow, tuna. I love tuna. I eat a lot of canned tuna, but I actually like tuna and sushi and some other, and seared tuna, and I mean, I like all of that stuff. Yeah, but so we can buy the bangus here, you know, and or you can buy it frozen, already filleted and flattened out, you know, or you can buy the whole thing at our local Asian store. So either way, you can buy it here. Milkfish, you know, just make it simple. Yes, Tate says, yes, it is a stopped there when I went last month. Oh, really? Nice. I'm here in McCold City, where there's a lot of people who don't know the names of fishes. So I name them people names. That's funny. Well, that's Jack. There's a jackfish, by the way. Snapshot Sniper, the first few months here, she was sick to her stomach. A lot of eating. My wife was the same way. We went through the same thing. The Amican and food. I've even took her to Jollibee 2 hours away. So you've been to the new Jollibee there in Tampa, right? Because you guys have a Jollibee in Tampa. So when we were in Florida the last time, we did a lot of Airbnb for like months at a time for a while. just to figure out where we wanted to live and things. And I remember they were bringing a Jollibee to Tampa, if I remember right. So our closest Jollibee is 5 hours. So 5 hours away. But I agree. Lorelai had an adjustment period too with the American food. And so what I did was we cooked a lot. She had a lot of cabbage soup and pork bone soup, and we grilled a lot of fish because I knew this was going to happen. Because being around international students all my adult teaching life, I saw them getting sick at times eating American food, and I'm like, well, we need to, work on that. Todd says I miss Tana. I miss Todd. I miss Tampa. Yeah. We like Florida. We love Florida. We just can't live there because the cost of living is too high. Tampa. Yeah, I knew it was in Tampa. Oh, you're in Naples. No, oh, we have friends in Naples. Literally, we have Filipino friends in Naples. So that's American guy married to a Filipino. My wife's one of her best friends from school lives in Naples. So been there. They have a place in Georgia too, but I guess. But I think they've been married about the same time, maybe around 10 years. I guess is what I'm thinking. So we actually know Naples. I've been to Naples. I used to live in Fort Myers, Florida, so I know the area very well. And my wife has a girlfriend that lives in Naples. I've talked to the husband once or twice, I think, over the years. They don't talk. They talk 5, 6, 10, 12 times a year. We've often talked about getting together on a cruise or something like that, but we just haven't been able to coordinate things. Snapshot says, well, now you're having more friends in Naples. Well, that's good because that gives us another reason to come to South Florida so that we can visit more people down there. And we like the area. It's a good area. But I lived in Fort Myers when I was a young man with my brothers. So loved the Fort Myers area. And if I ever won the super lottery, we would buy a nice house in Fort Myers, Florida, because they got some good restaurants and things, and it's not that far from Miami and all that. But we really enjoyed Florida, really enjoy it, but your cost of living, your insurance on home ownership, the taxes on home ownership just doesn't make it feasible. And because we want to spend our years traveling, we want to go back to the Philippines, we want to go on more cruises, we want to go to Europe. So I don't want to spend all of my money on the carrying cost of home ownership in Florida. I'd rather live in southern Alabama, still get that Florida panhandle vibe without the price. So that's kind of what we do. But yeah, I don't know how much their house is, Snapshot, but I know it's well over $1 million something. Lorelai Googled it one time years ago, and it's, 600K is a lot of money. The part of the country we live in and now, that's part of why we don't like it here. I grew up here, went to high school here, taught college here, but we're in a boom. Northwest Arkansas, the home of Walmart, Tyson Foods, J.B. Hunt's, Simmons Banking. Oh my God, there's so many freaking Fortune 500 companies here. It's unbelievable. Houses prices are skyrocketed here. I mean, traffic's a nightmare. Everything's a nightmare in this part of the country. So we'd actually like to go to where it's a little bit calmer, not as crazy, not as out of hand, is what we hope to do. Well, it would be easy, Tate, because I've been on not a lot of cruises, we've been on a bunch of cruises, and there's tropical shirts everywhere. I guess when fat old guys like me, we go on a cruise, we immediately think, bring out the tropical shirts. So, I love the cruises, man. I wish we could put together a Filipino community cruise. Now, that would be a cruise, right? If we could get couples from all over the country to meet and take a cruise together, that would be a lot of fun. Because, the wives would have a blast at the karaoke bars, at the comedy shows, at the trivia stuff. If we could put together a cruise where Phil Am couples came together and took a cruise, that would be a cruise we should do. maybe we should look into that, right? Get with a travel agent who can handle all of that and get us a cruise out of Miami or Galveston or somewhere easy to get to and plan it a year ahead. And boy, I bet you the wives would have a blast. Get a 30 or 40 women. Oh my God. We're having a Halloween party. We have a lot of parties, but our Halloween party, the population's getting bigger and bigger. There's probably going to be 50 people in my little bitty house here. So I don't know how we're going to work that, but Filipinos love a party, right? They love to karaoke. They love to eat food, and they love to get louder and louder and louder. At least on a cruise ship, they can get as loud as they want, and nobody would care. And us men could go find safe refuge in another part of the ship. you know. Snapshot says, yeah, ridiculous down in Naples. I agree. I mean, that's the problem. We've looked at the area. We couldn't afford to live there. We just couldn't do it. Filipina Bye in the Providence Snapshot. Don't forget to recommend me. All right. Did you hear that, Snapshot? She's saying, look, I'm excited. I want to meet your friend. So let's make sure you can get them connected. Yeah, it's ridiculous living down there. I would agree. I tell people I'm not an e-beggar for the most part, but I am e-begging for like 3.5 million because I found a beach house or a house on the water in Cocoa Beach area of Florida that we like. It's calmer. That my wife would like to live in. It's only 3.5 million, but it's right on the water, has a boat dock, swimming pools, the whole 9 yards. So I'm not an e-beggar, but if anybody wanted to give me 3.5 million so I could go buy that house so that my wife could go fishing every day, just let me know. So Snapshot says he's going to hook you up. He's going to take care of it. He's going to help you out there. His name is Jimmy. Jimmy. It's a good name. Somebody walking around. So he's your friend, right? Yeah. That's what he's saying. He knows him personally, right? So, see, you just never know how the morning's going to go. But that's what we would like to live. We like Cocoa Beach, Florida, for the East Coast. We like Fort Myers for the Gulf Coast, and we like the Panhandle for the Panhandle. Yep, he's known him for 6 years. He's known him for 6 years. So you can trust him. I got a feeling, if you read the way he types and some of the things that he says, he's not a low budget boy. He's not a scumbucket. A Snapshot's not. You can tell that, his speech patterns, his writing patterns are the fact that he's probably educated and does well in life for himself and behaves appropriate in public. So, Tate, same thing with Tate. Tate is a great guy down in Texas. I can't remember the name of the restaurant in Cocoa Beach, but I remember sitting outside and you could feed the catfish. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember a restaurant like that. I remember just fishing a lot. We would go to the piers and the little parks. We went to, obviously Orlando, and we went to go watch the space stuff at SpaceX and fished off the pier and the cruise ships. Filipina is saying, wow, that's great. Just a friend and knowing each other. Yeah. We like to cruise, as I said, and so we're looking at like Mobile, Alabama area because there's a cruise port there. There's a cruise port in New Orleans. Galveston's not too far. Tampa's not too far. Port Canaveral's not too far. So those are all drivable, and Miami you can just catch a plane and go to. So that's kind of where we're at when it comes to that, because eventually I want my wife, who loves to work, she doesn't have to work, but she likes to work. I want her to stay home so we can do more. But I'm telling you, if we recommend somebody like, his friend or my friend, if we got friends, one, we want our friends to be happy. We want the guys to be very happy. And we only want, there's something about men. If we got a buddy who's a slime ball, we don't really care if he's happy. you know, because he's a slime ball. He may be a buddy, but he's still a slime ball, right? So who cares? He'll figure it out. But if we have good friends that are good guys, we truly want them to be happy, and we will do what we can to help them become happy. But if I got a buddy who's a womanizer, a big drunk, or a deadbeat, doesn't pay his child support, didn't take care of whatever, I don't really care if his happy ass is happy. He'll figure it out. He made his own bed. So friends are great. You guys all know that. And I am so excited that all of you guys joined us. Thank you all for subscribing to the channel and chatting with us. And were you guys able to hook up with each other, connect, so that you guys can reach out to each other? And make sure you do that. And you can reach out to us on Facebook, or you can just email me. My YouTube channel has an email address. If you want to email me, you can do that, or whatever you need to do. And stay in touch, and network, and see what can come up with. And I know Jack has dropped your link, and I'll go back to your channel and try to find it and do all of that. So, but I think our Sunday morning live stream is about to wrap up. So Jack is going to do a StreamYard live stream shortly. Well, Jack, I'll come over in a couple of minutes and join your StreamYard live stream, Jack, because it's about time for me to get off of here. Maybe go have a banana for breakfast. But guys, I thank you. I try to do what we do, and you guys are all welcome. We do a big live stream on StreamYard every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, United States. And we have a bunch of different topics. We do some fun things, and we do that. And then I've been trying to do these little pop-up live streams in the mornings. So I appreciate all of y'all. Every one of you, thank you for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up, the shout-outs, the subscribes. Make sure you do that for others here in YouTube. So thank you. Thank you, guys. All right. Maybe we'll see you guys over on Jack's live stream. Take care.